so he let other people manage it, people who made even more money for him. In the beginning, when the money started flowing in, he moved his parents to a mansion, got them live-in help, and bought them fancy cars, all without asking them first. That lasted one whole week before they moved out in the middle of the night and went back to their little house in the desert, where they had lived out their lives. He still owned that house, and it was where he himself lived. He'd updated it and was snug as a bug in a rug. Cosmo chuckled when he thought of the other perk he'd negotiated, acquiring the entire floor below his suite of offices. He'd been disappointed that he hadn't had to go to the mat on that one. The powers that be gave in meekly, and he rented it out for outrageous sums of money, which he in turn donated to his favorite charities. Cosmo looked at Mickey again and saw that it was almost 6 o'clock, which meant it was almost 9 o'clock back east. He looked forward to calling Elizabeth and talking for an hour or so. God, how he loved that woman. Mickey told him he had 15 more minutes to reflect before he headed home. Thinking about Elizabeth Fox made him smile. Never in his wildest dreams had he ever thought a woman like Elizabeth would fall in love with him, or that he could love her as much as he loved his parents. It just boggled his mind. Cosmo's smile widened when he remembered his parents sitting him down when he turned 6 and was about to go off to school. They told him how he was different and how the other children were going to react to him. He'd listened, but he hadn't understood the cruelty of children. He learned quickly. It hadn't gotten any better as he aged, but by the time he went off to college, he didn't give a shit what anyone said about him. He accepted that he was big, and that his feet were like canoes, and that he was ugly, with outrigger ears and a flat slab for a face, and that he had to have specially made clothes and shoes and a bed that would accommodate his body. He was comfortable in his own skin, and made a life for himself. And then along came Elizabeth Fox, or as she was known in legal circles, the Silver Fox. At first he couldn't believe she loved him, or as she put it, "I don't just love you, Cosmo. I love every inch of you." And she meant it. He was so light-headed with that declaration he'd almost passed out. She'd laughed, a glorious tinkling sound that made him shiver all the way to his toes. Then she'd sat him down and told him everything she was involved in. "You can walk away from me right now, Cosmo, and I will understand. If we stay together, you will know I'm breaking the law, and so will you. I'm giving you a choice." Like there was a choice to be made. He'd signed on and never looked back. He was now a male member of that elite little group called the Vigilantes. Cosmo looked over at Mickey and saw that it was time to fight the Vegas traffic and head for home. He looked around to see where his jacket was. Just where he'd thrown it when he came back from lunch, half on one of the chairs and half dangling on the floor. He was heaving himself out of his rocking chair when he heard the door to his secretary's office open and close. Mona Stevens, his secretary, always left at 5 o'clock on the dot because she had to pick up her son from daycare. Mona had been one of his pro bono cases. A friend of a friend had asked him to help her out because her husband had taken off and left her and her son to fend for themselves. He'd hired her once he'd straightened out her problem and gotten her child support, and he paid her 3 times what other secretaries earned on the strip. She was so grateful and loyal she would have brushed his teeth for him if he'd allowed it. Cosmo opened the door to see a woman sitting primly on one of the chairs. She looked worried as well as uncomfortable. When the door opened, she looked up, a deer caught in the headlights. "Can I help you?" She was maybe in her mid-40s. He was never good at women's ages, well-dressed, with a large leather bag at her feet. Her hair looked nice to his eye, and she wasn't slathered in makeup. All in all, a pleasant-looking woman whose husband had probably gambled away their life savings and the house as well. He liked to think he was a good judge of character, and always, no matter what, he waited to see a client's reaction to meeting him for the first time. This lady, whoever she was, didn't flinch, didn't blink, didn't do anything other than ask, "Are you Mr. Cricket?"
"I am. I was just leaving. Do you have an appointment I forgot about?"
"No.